How to delete multiple clips with one button, quick and easy, like this. You can see the clips, all clips on this track now are deleted. So once more, it's a Max for Live device, possible if you have Max for Live, and it's working for 11 and 12. It works for 10 as well, but not with direct MIDI input here, which I will explain in a second. So it's a pack of 4 devices. Delete all clips on this track, or delete only in certain scenes. So you can see here it's 3 and 4, from 3 to 4. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. I mean this one here. So if I delete, only want to delete a certain section from scene 2, 3 to 4, for example here. Or, and this is really handy, if you say, well, actually I want to delete clips on multiple tracks. So if we have, let me quickly reset this. So I have a device here. I will show you how to set this up in a second. I just want to show you and present first what's possible here. So this is the third device here. You can select tracks and you can specify for each track if you want to delete all, or if you only want to delete a selection of clips here. And now if I press the button I set up to trigger that, you can see in on track 1 everything is deleted, on track 2 only the 3 till 4, and on the next one 3 till 4, 2 till 4, sorry, are being deleted here. So my first clip stays on here. Becomes interesting if you're using my one button live looper and you have some clips set up to trigger certain things, or my looper control pack for the Ableton looper, where you are able to export clips from an Ableton looper to export tracks here. And if you have multiple clips, if you start your session, you want to clean everything out, that's a possible option here. And I have one more, which is for groups. So you might not want to set this up for single tracks, but for all tracks which are in a certain group, and it works as follows. So we have this one here. I have selected group 4, which is this track, and I have selected group 7, which is this track, and I set a selection for the group 7 tracks here. So it will now delete every clip on the tracks which are in this particular group. And you can see here it's working like this. Boom, boom. And the redo I'm doing with another device, which is not included in this pack here, undo and redo via MIDI trigger, just if you're interested in that. I will link that in the video description here as well. So how does it work and how is it being set up? So let's start easy with the first one. So delete all clips on this track. You put this device on the track. You want all clips to be deleted, and you can do this just by clicking on the delete all clips button here, obviously. So you can MIDI map this button here as well. So this is what would work in Ableton Live 10 as well. What I don't like about this option is here that if you MIDI map a button in a Max for Live device, it automatically toggles, it stays on and off and on and off if you're using MIDI notes you're sending in here. So if you're not interested in that at all, forget about this, because you are able to directly set a MIDI controller to be received on this particular device. So you don't need to mess with the whole MIDI mapping here, and you're actually able to recall those settings across Ableton Live sets. So I just find this a really much nicer and slimmer way. And this technique here is used on all 4 of those devices here. So you can set up a MIDI controller binding directly to the device here. You can just open up the menu here, you select your MIDI controller, in my case that's the LPD8 MK2 here, and if you want to filter certain channels you can do that. Most people don't do that anyway, so we leave that on all channels. So now I switch on the direct MIDI in, that's what I call this technique I developed here, the direct MIDI in trigger here, and we can select between note, CC or program changes, but you don't actually have to do this. The device is doing that automatically for you. So if I hit S for syncing, it will detect what kind of MIDI messages and what value of MIDI messages. So what kind would be note, CC or program change, and what kind, that's what kind, and what type. and what pitch or CC number or program change number, it's automatically detected. So if I just hit this, you can see it's detecting this. Let's do this once more just for showing purposes. So it's already mapped now. Okay, so now I effed up my undo history here because I did some things. So if I go back, and here are my clips again, delete all clips. Let's do this once more. And you can see the undo history thing here in Ableton Live is a little bit funky. Let's quickly just set up those 4 tracks here. Cool, so just quick and easy triggering delete all clips if you need that, probably when you're starting out with a live set or if you're playing live and you have a preset, you want all clips to delete it. Sometimes you don't want all clips to delete it because you maybe have clips in here which are dummy clips and triggering certain things. So only a section of the clips here should be deleted, and you can set this here. So for example, I could set like from 1 up till 2 or just one. So only the first clip here in the first scene would be deleted if I trigger that. Okay, so, and there we go. With the button again, undo history is effed as soon as you use a button here. That's why I highly advise to use the direct MIDI in mapping here, which only works from Ableton Live 11 and onwards on to 12. Obviously, we are in 12 here now. So those are all Max for Live devices. Max for Live is needed to make use of those. Max for Live is included in the suite version of Ableton or can be bought as an add-on towards Ableton Live Standard. Okay, so how to delete multiple clips on multiple tracks via one button, and that's like the third divide, which is a little bit more usable here because you can now say, well, actually, I don't want to mess with single tracks here. I want to delete things on multiple tracks on the same time. So how does it work? So let's start to set this up. So you have a MIDI menu here and you can refresh. If you create a new track, you can refresh this and it will then display you all the different tracks without the group tracks, because obviously you can't delete clips on your group tracks. You can select all the different tracks you got on here. So let's set this up for track 1. Now you go to a field and you hit S here for saving this, setting this to be now stored in the device. So track 1 MIDI, which is my first track up here, is now being stored here. And now I can decide what tracks, what clips should be deleted on this track. So if I want all, let's keep this to all. So let's set up the next one. So I go to the menu, I select the track I want to be controlled. I go to a field, you can pick any field here, and I set this one to be listening to and being deleting on the track 2 MIDI, which is my second track up here. So I now want to set up a selection. Let's say I want only on the 4th scene, from 4th to 4th scene, so only the 4th scene would be deleted here. The next one would be maybe track 3. Let's set this up to be here, and let's say I want on this one, I want from 1 to 2. So 1 to 2, obviously we're counting from the top 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So now if I trigger, and I set this up before, and I'm not going to use the button now because it's going to mess up my undo history. So if I have this button here now being triggered, you can see that on multiple tracks, it will delete multiple clips and the specified clips, all clips, or just from 2 if I want to. And you can see this is happening now here. And only the 4th clip here is being deleted, 4 to 4, and only 1 up till 2 on the 3rd track is being deleted here. So now this is still a lot to set up, and you can even make this process a little bit faster if you're using group tracks. And for the group tracks, it will work a little bit different. So all tracks inside the group you are selecting here. So the menu here now works a little bit different, and we can see only group tracks are being displayed because we want to select the groups. So if we select group 4 here, for example, group 4, and let's get rid of the other one. So that means that the tracks which are inside this group track here, which is 5 and 6, only those tracks, obviously that works with audio tracks here as well, just want to mention that, but easier for creating clips here in MIDI tracks. So only the tracks, or all the tracks which are in this group here on the first top level, I'm going to explain that in a second what I mean by first top level, they are being accessed now and being deleted now. So I don't have to set up so many single things here. So I could do this, for example, with this one here. Let me quickly set up a few clips and create a group, which would mean I highlight all the tracks I want to go into this group. I group this and let's call this new group. So now if I go to my device here, I need to refresh the menu because I've added a new group track here, and we can see this is now showing up in our menu. And let's set up new group, and let's set this to a clip slot, and maybe let's say we want to delete 3 up till 4 here. We don't have everything in here, so let's say 1 till 2 maybe, or 1 till 3 was fine already. Okay, so now that means track 2, track 3, track 4 are now all in this one group, and they will be all deleted and accessed when I trigger this here. Now let's quickly do this just to show you all those tracks which are inside the group tracks I selected are now being cleared or deleted, the clips for the settings I set to. Okay, so if we have a look here again, because we have 2 groups, we have a group inside a group track, and even as I have set up this group track number 5, so the name's changed now, okay, because you have to set names for the tracks. If you only leave the numbers there, they will change, but they are still be accessed, but the name doesn't show up because the 5 here is updating automatically when you add tracks. But as soon as you name this group, there is no number in there and it won't update. Okay, so my 5 group here is being accessed via the device for deleting, and it will delete those 2 tracks here. But there is a group inside the group, a group track inside the group track, which is since Ableton Live 12, I think, that you can have group tracks inside group tracks, and they won't be accessed. So only the tracks which are directly on the first level of this group here, they will be accessed. So the device seeing that as 2 different group tracks, which makes sense because you could have group tracks inside group tracks inside group tracks, and it would get really messy. So we only want to set up this here. So let's take 8, and now we can delete the red group tracks here as well. Maybe let's set them to all, and if I'm right, it's this button, yeah, here. So I can access those via that here. Cool, I hope that makes sense and shows you that this is a really quick way of deleting a lot of clips. And again, if you might using my Ableton Looper controller pack, which is which lets you loop things in the Ableton Looper, but then export those clips to tracks and have them automatically played. But obviously you might have a lot of clips then on your track, and when you're starting out fresh, you might quickly want to delete those all and make sure when you're performing or whatever, or when you're coming fresh to your studio, just hit one button, delete all the clips you don't need, have them set up already. Cool, this again is a pack of 4 Max for Live devices. Max for Live is needed to make use of this. It works with Ableton 11 and 12. Works to some extent if you use the button here, the delete button, click button here, but as I showed you in the video already, it's kind of like messing up your undo history. If that's not a big issue for you because you're performing live anyways and you don't want to undo anything, then this works for Ableton Live 10 as well. Cool, take care, bye bye.